Hello, everyone. James Wilson here. And today we're going to talk about my identity politics and how is it really effective for Democrats? Is it effective for Democrats or is it counterproductive? And as you all know, I am a numbers guy. I look at the numbers. I may not like the numbers, but the numbers don't lie. Okay? So I'm going to talk to you about ever since that I was born, and I was born in 1980. We're going to go through all the elections in 1980 and see what comes up. So, does identity politics work for Democrats? The truth is in the numbers. So let's take a look. Let me give you an example here. This is the 2010 Senate race for Illinois. And this is an off-year election. But you have two candidates here. They're both white. Mark Kirk versus Alexei. I don't know the last name. Can't pronounce it. Sorry. But as you can tell, it was a very, very tight election. The Democrat lost the election. Republican won. Not by a whole lot. About a point. But regardless, he won. Now, what I really like to look at is the raw data, right? How many votes did each person have? And then in 2016, I'm going to see, okay, did they improve their voting? Did they not improve their voting? Let's take a look here. And we're talking about identity politics now. Look at this now. Over 3 million votes. Before that, you had 1.6 million, 1.641 million. That's almost doubled. And I know it's a presidential year, but that is still substantial. Tammy Duckworth got way more votes than Mark Kirk. Mark Kirk had a lot less votes. Do you see that? Now, Mark Kirk still improved his numbers. There's nothing wrong with Mark Kirk, okay? I'm sure he was a good senator, but he only got 400,000, was it 500,000? I mean, for a guy who gets 500,000 more votes, over 500,000 more votes, still was not enough to win. And he got blown out by Tammy Duckworth. And this is just an example right here of identity politics. So what I decided to do for presidential elections, I crunched some numbers, okay? And I wanted to see if the Democrats on the presidential elections, how they fare with identity politics. And that is, getting a minority up and running. There's no way, I don't believe that Duckworth is that much better on policy compared to Alexei or anyone else on the Democratic side. The fact of the matter is that she's a, that she's a woman, she's a minority woman, right? And 2022, which is an off-year election, she absolutely killed Kathy. I mean, this is not a presidential election, right? But when you take a look at it, the popular vote did go down compared to last time. And Kathy had 1.701 million votes. But you see, when you look at this, it's like, okay, she had less votes than Mark Kirk. Now, Republican are just these are just generic Republicans. Duckworth got less votes than Kathy did, 2.329 million. But when you actually look at a presidential year, Mark Kirk still got less votes than in 2016 than Tammy got in 2022. And in 2010, he won. Okay? So she lost votes here. Now, you expected to lose votes in an off-year election. I totally get that. But here's the point here. She shouldn't have got that much more votes in a regular presidential election year, right? Like, when you look at this, it's like she got so many votes. Mark Kirk still got the votes. But when you look in 2022, she got way more. Kathy got less than the Republican did in 2010. So what does that tell you? It tells you that they did very well in the identity politics part. And I can give you a million different explanations on that. But let's take a look here. So what I did was, ever since the 1980 election, I calculated how many times did the Democrats win when they wasn't a major third-party candidate, because third-party candidates can affect the outcome of elections, right? We all know that. So part of that was 1992, Ross Perot. So if the third-party candidate gets at least, third parties get at least 10% of the vote, I'm not going to count those. I'm not going to count that as part of the aggregate, because those could affect the outcome of elections, right? So, excluding viable third-party candidates, when you actually look at this, no minorities for Democrats. So this is where both of the president and the vice president is white. They're 0-6 in presidential elections. So 1980, 84, 88, 2000, 2004, and 2016, they all lost their race, okay? And then minority candidates are 3-0. 08 Obama, 012 Obama, okay, 2020 when you had Harris as vice president. And then when I did the math here, 1992, 19.52% third-party vote share. Bush could have easily won 1992. I did do a separate video on that, and it would have been a very razor-thin election if it wasn't for Perot. 1996, yeah, you could make the case for Bill Clinton, but if Bill Clinton lost in 92, well, he may have not won in 96. So they still got 10%, over 10% of the vote for third-party vote shares. So what conclusion did I come up with this is yes. Identity politics do work for the Democratic Party. People love to put people in boxes about race. They love talking about race. And based on these numbers, and as I said, numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. The Democrats can't win without a minority being on the ticket. I don't know when the next time we're going to have an election where the Democrat doesn't have a minority on the ticket. I don't think it's going to happen in a long time. They figured it out the only way they can win, because they can't win on policy, right? I mean, they used to be able to win on policy when they're actually for the people, like for the working class, way back in the day. I mean, even Clinton and before him, even though a lot of people didn't like Bill Clinton, we still had a good economy. Of course, he was handcuffed through the Republicans, but he didn't overstep his boundaries. He was actually considered a pretty decent president by many different people. But even if you include Obama, I mean, the Democrat Party isn't the same as it used to be. And I would like to argue that the Democrat Party, the new Democratic Party, did start under Obama. But yeah, I mean, it's very simple. The Democrats win on the on this issue, and Republicans can't beat the Democrat if one of them is black. They can't win. So can Trump beat Harris in 2024? I don't know. I mean, right now it's 50-50. Wisconsin has the polling has them ahead by less than a point, and in the past they've underestimated Trump by 6 points. But I mean, it looks like they corrected that, so who knows? But let me know what you think. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any questions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Bye-bye.